It's the 73rd annual NAFB convention in Kansas City. Thank you to our broadcast sponsors, including BASF, Northwest Wisconsin, Ashley Gaussman, your representative, also Annabeth Silo of Duran, the Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, and Mycogen Seeds. Speaking of Mycogen Seeds, Andrew Hoffman joining us. He's a marketing manager with Mycogen. Have some things we're going to talk about today. And Andrew, thanks for joining us. Well, let's talk a little bit about, we're wrapping up 2016. For harvest, and now we got to start thinking about 2017 for us in western Wisconsin and southeast Minnesota. What should growers be thinking about as they plan for next year?
Some things for growers to think about is take what they learned in 2016, look at yield information, scouting notes, understand what diseases or insects played a role, and really use that to create a good action plan going into 2017 as they're trying to put together a crop plan and select different hybrids for next year.
That's really the big thing. Hopefully, when when our producers were in the combine and they were driving through the fields harvesting, we're actually taking some notes as well from the yield monitors, so they can kind of look back on that.
Exactly. It's good to understand why a field yielded the way it did. Was it management? Was it genetics? Was there a disease that came in? So really taking a good holistic look at field by field and putting together a plan going into 2017 is really important for success.
We are talking with Andrew Hoffman. He is the marketing manager with Mycogen Seeds. There were some challenges this year for growers. I know when it became so wet, we started to see stalk rot issues and that sort of thing, at least for the corn growers. So how can our growers use the information of those challenges from this year for next year?
If growers had some specific issues, so you referenced stalk rot, if they know that next year that field is going to be corn also, it's important to make sure they work with a local expert that understands maybe a hybrid that has better stalk strength, handles disease pressures better in corn-on-corn situations to help mitigate some of those risks. But then also going in the next year and make sure that they're actively scouting, making sure that they're picking corn at the right time.
And really all of that data, not just from this year, but hopefully farmers have kept this data for numbers of years, so they have some historical data they can look back on and refer to. Then that can also play into this picking the correct choice for next year.
Exactly. The knowledge is power. You can always use historical information to help you look forward going into the future. Every year is a little bit different, so it's understanding maybe what normal is and always working with that local expert that kind of can help manage some of that.
Talking with Andrew Hoffman with Mycogen Seeds. Finally, Andrew, obviously western Wisconsin and really Wisconsin in general, dairy is still one of the biggest parts of agriculture. A lot of dairy farmers are growing corn for silage, and there's some interesting products from Mycogen that can help with that.
Mycogen is a corn silage leader. We take a lot of pride in our breeding program for silage. We're one of the few companies that has a program that's dedicated toward corn silage, and a lot of efforts have been around BMR corn silage, and we continue to see good success with growers using that type of corn silage.
Actually, one of our local farmers from Bear Creek Farms uses the BMR trait, and we have him on it for a commercial, and that's a spot where folks can find out more about that, as we have in the commercial, bmr.com, right?
Yeah, they can go to mycogen.com, and we have a lot of good information about what brown midrib is, how to manage that. But again, working with your local seed expert, but also your nutritionist hand in hand, really is what creates success in the milk tank.
Well, again, Andrew, we appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you much.
Andrew Hoffman, he's with Mycogen Seeds. We are at the 73rd annual NAFB convention in Kansas City. I'm Brian Winnikins on Real Country 1430 WRDN.